Welcome to our presentation. This presentation will be on the online student portal and is an inside look at the student portal for staff and faculty of Independence University. To access the student portal, students will need to go to my.independence.edu. From this page, students will need to click Student Portal Homepage. First-time users will need to click Create a New Account. If students have created their account already, they will simply need to log in using their username and password. In order to create their account, students will need to use either their Social Security number or their student ID number. There are also some questions at the bottom that students will be able to enter and answer in case they forget their password. These are the security questions. So they'll want to write down exactly how they spelled the city in which they were born and their mother's maiden name. They are case sensitive, so if they decide not to capitalize these names, they will need to make a note of that for themselves. Once the student has once the student has clicked submit, they will get this message here that states that they found an email address on file for them. If that's not their email address, they need to contact IU Help to update it. If it is their email address, they'll simply click yes. Next, this screen will pop up in which students will be able to create their username and password. The password needs to be at least 6 digits, 6 characters long. This is because that is a requirement for Canvas, and the password will be the same for both the portal and Canvas. Once they've decided on a password, they can click Submit, and then they get this message that says, congratulations, they've processed their registration, and they just need to click the link to get onto the student portal. So here's the portal homepage. It's also called the dashboard page. From here, students can access Canvas. They can also see who their current financial planner and associate dean are. You'll also see occasionally student advisor, which is also the associate dean. Their assigned academic advisor or student advisor that they have for the first academic period is not listed here because it is a temporary assignment. Instead, they will be receiving emails from either their student advisor or their academic advisor to learn who that is. So over here on the left is what we're going to be looking at. There is information on academics, there's information about their financial aid, and we're going to go through a few of these items to take a closer look. Under Campus Info, students can find a faculty directory. The faculty directory is in alphabetical order, so they just need to select the letter of the first letter of the last name of the person they're trying to find. And they'll be able to get an email address, a phone number, occasionally a phone number, but always the email address so they can contact a past instructor or a future instructor to ask questions. Usually they can contact their present instructors through Canvas, but this is a good way to contact those that they no longer have contact information for. Next, we're going to take a look at academics. Under academics, students can view attendance. Now, as online students, we don't really use the attendance. Their attendance is tracked otherwise. It's not traditional, so they don't take traditional attendance. So the students won't be using that within the portal. However, they will use the degree audit. The degree audit is really important. It can give students a lot of information. So we'll take a closer look at that. The degree progress audit is an area that shows students exactly how many credits they've taken, how many credits are required, and how many credits they have left. It also has a link to their unofficial transcript. So if a student ever needs their unofficial transcript, it's right here. It's PDF, and it's updated as soon as Campus View is updated by instructors and by the system. It will be updated here in the unofficial transcript. So students can get that as soon as their grades are final and print it out and take it to their manager or whatever reason they might have for needing that unofficial transcript and get whatever they need done with that. Under program details, it outlines the name of the program. It outlines their associate dean again under academic advisor. It gives their GPA, their enrollment date, start date, and expected graduation date. It also gives their status. So this is a wealth of information, and if students scroll down, they'll also see the course category summary, which breaks down the degree program into categories. For this student, she is attending and completing the MBA program, so there's only one category of classes, and that's business admin master's classes. Some other programs may have an emphasis, so there would be emphasis courses separate from the business admin courses or general education courses. So those are the different types of courses. They break them down into category. Underneath the course category summary is the course list. The course list shows the student every course they've taken, also all the courses that are scheduled to this point. Most of the time, students are scheduled out at least 4 modules in advance, sometimes less, but it is usually about 4 courses in advance. With this student, I clicked Show All Courses so that all the courses in the program would show up on one page. Typically, only about 10 courses show up on each page, so students would need to scroll through the pages to find all of them. In this way, it's easier to see what courses are scheduled when. I also clicked Term so that we could see the order of the courses and when they would be taken. Now, this student is in her last course, so we don't get to see the future courses, but the future courses are typically listed here, and it will say scheduled instead of current or complete. So we can see here, credits required is 60, credits completed is 56, credits currently scheduled is 4, which is that last class, and then credits remaining after those scheduled credits is 0. So if this student had 3 or 4 courses left and only 2 of them were scheduled, then the other 2 courses in credits would be here under credits remaining. It also shows the GPA here. So students can see what courses they'll be taking in the future. Some students are surprised when they are enrolled in more than one course. In this way, students can be prepared and see whether or not they're going to be taking 2 courses in the next module. If we continue to scroll down on the same page, there's a hypothetical program change area. Students can see their current program information here, and then hypothetical program information here. So again, this student is in the MBA program, but suppose she wanted to know what it would take to get the emphasis in entrepreneurship. So what we'll do is under Program, we'll select Business, and under Program Version, we will select Entrepreneurship. Now that is the Business Admin ENTMS, and we're going to select the next module, which would be the August 10th module at this point. Then Evaluate. Now this is going to show exactly how many credits would need to be taken and what courses that she has already taken will transfer into the new emphasis program. Also, we can see how it did split up the 2 different types of courses. So here we have 36 credits required, 36 credits completed. So she's completed all of the core courses and now just needs to take the emphasis courses, which there are 24 credits, and she's completed 4 of them, so she would have 20 credits left. So this student, if she were to decide to change, would have another 20 credits to complete. And we can see here that these are listed as future. If this were the actual degree that she was enrolled in, we would see 3 or 4 of these courses as scheduled and see the dates right here under term to see when she would be taking those courses. Now this applies to students that want to transfer from a business program to a health services program, for example. There may be some general education courses that they took that will transfer over, and this will give them a better idea of what exactly they would need to complete in order to graduate if they were to change their program. Next, we're going to take a look at the GPA calculator. You'll see that we've skipped My Class Schedule, and the reason for that is this class schedule can be seen under Degree Audit, and because we're not a traditional ground campus school, we don't students don't have a typical schedule. There are not blocks of time that students need to attend a class. Therefore, the class schedule simply shows what courses that they are enrolled in this mod and perhaps even next mod, but the degree audit shows more information than is needed in that case. Now, the GPA calculator is useful for those students that are curious about what would happen to their GPA if they got a certain grade in a course. For this student, you see she has a 4.0, so we can assume that she does very well, but let's say that she's having a really bad mod and her grade is really low and she's worried about falling off of the president's list or the dean's list, and she wants to know what a lower grade would do to her GPA. Now, this isn't really a very low grade, but for someone who has a 4.0, it can be tough to get a B+. So we're going to say B+ and see what happens. We click Calculate GPA. We see that her term GPA will be 3.4, but her overall GPA will be a 3.96, so she'll still be on that president's list. So this is a way for students that are on SAP that need to maintain a certain GPA or are getting close to graduation and their GPA is on the line for graduation requirements. They can find out exactly how well or how poorly they can do in a class in order to get their GPA where it needs to be. Okay. Next, we're going to move on to My Profile. Under My Profile is an area called My Calendar, which shows the students what courses they're enrolled in so it shows a calendar. It's a calendar, and every day of the calendar is filled in with the name of a course. So let's say the student was in English 101, this module, it would show English 101 on every day of the mod, and then moving into the next month or next mod, it would change to be the next mod's course code. So it's not incredibly helpful, but it is there if students want to use it. Next is change password. If students need to change their portal password, they can do that right here in the portal. My Message Center. Now that's something that we will be discussing a little bit further. My Message Center is a way for students to contact the listed advisors here in the portal, so financial aid and the financial planner and the associate dean. The messages that they send through the Message Center are sent into Campus View, which we'll be going over at the end of this presentation. The reason I want to go over it is because many students will use that Message Center, and some of us don't know where to find those messages, and they get lost in the shuffle, and the students think that we don't care, or that they expect an answer and they don't get one. So it's important that we understand where those messages go. It's much like email. It goes straight into the Campus View activities. So next is My Information, where students can see the information that we have on file for them. So emergency contacts, phone numbers, email addresses. Sometimes students want to change their title, so they might be a Miss and they want to be a Mrs., or sometimes it's way wrong and it's Mr. and they are a Miss. They can change that by going to My Information and submitting a request, and that request goes to the IU Help team. Next, we're going to look at this is the Message Center. So you can see down at the bottom, it lists the advisors and it gives a way to contact them. They just click contact, and that will go to their little email area where they can send a message. So My Finances includes account information, which is like it's a ledger where students can see payments made, charges applied, and they can get a better idea of what's going on with their finances. And then Make a Payment. They can make an electronic payment very easily with a credit card or debit card through the portal. If they don't want to have to call or wait for someone to get back with them, they can do it automatically through the portal. And then View 1098-T. The 1098-T is used for tax purposes, so we usually don't hear from students about this until January, and sometimes daily until April. So it's important to know where students can find this. They can get it under My Finances, but there's also a link at the very top. We've tried to make it very easy for students to find their 1098-T. So they just click that and they're able to download it and print it out. So you can see View 1098-T pop up, and they just click on the year that they need it for, and they can download that. Under My Financial Aid, you can see students can get information. They can get their award letter. They can go to a link for the FAFSA. They can set up their PIN. They can do their entrance and exit counseling. They can go to Loan Check, which gives them more information about the loans. FastWeb, which gives them the opportunity to see what scholarships they're eligible for outside of Independence University. Sallie Mae is more information about outside loans. Federal Student Aid is information, of course, about federal student aid. And then the loan calculator is a way for students to, it's an outside website as well, but it allows students to enter in an amount and a percentage rate for interest and figure out exactly how much that loan is going to be for. And then this again is important for students to know about so that they can get more information about loans and scholarships. Under My Career, students can submit their resume to have on file. And then under My Documents is the Document Center, where it shows students if there's anything that we're missing, such as unofficial transcripts or a background check, things of that nature. Okay, so that is the portal. Again, there's a lot of information. Students can personalize it. They can find information about financial aid, about their academics. They can log into Canvas here in the middle of the page when they first log in. So it's important that students are familiar with this, but also we need to be familiar with it so we know where to send students when they have a question that can be answered through the portal. Next, I wanted to show you again where those messages go from the Message Center. So a student will submit a message and it goes into the Contact Manager in Campus View. So when you open Campus View, you should get a pop-up box that says Contact Manager. If not, then you can find it by clicking this little file folder with papers coming out of it, and that will pull up the Contact Manager. Now I just pulled up a random advisor here, and you can see there are a lot of activities under the Contact Manager. If you have any names under here at all, that's something we need to take care of because they're pending activities. So either they're activities that have come directly from the student or they're activities that we have created and accidentally left in pending status instead of closing them when they needed to be closed. So we're going to take a look at this very first activity listed in here. And we're going to click View Activity. By clicking View Activity, it pulls up the activity box and it allows us to make changes. We can see the student submitted the request on October 1st of 2014. So it's been almost a year since she submitted this request, and she asked a question about making a payment because she's struggling. And unfortunately, this advisor didn't know about the request or didn't know how to close the request. So either the student never heard back or the advisor did take care of it but just didn't close it. So it's really important that we stay on top of these and check the Contact Manager daily, several times a day, so that when students contact us, we can help them. We are dedicated to helping students and making sure we contact them within a timely manner. So this student, it's too late for this particular question, obviously, but hopefully she was helped and this activity just wasn't closed out. So we need to make sure, again, that we close out activities once we've completed the request. So that is the student portal and information about the Contact Manager. We appreciate your time and we hope you have a great day. Thanks.